Okay, so in today's training, I want to talk to you about finding opportunities. And really, the whole purpose of finding opportunities is so that we can get sales. Opportunities leads to sales. If you pursue opportunities, etc., you're going to go forward and have a chance at winning sales. But it's pretty hard to win sales if you're not finding opportunities that your company can do. And if you don't have a sales pipeline, whatever that is, that could be a spreadsheet. I don't care about the tools, but if you don't have a list of opportunities you're trying to pursue, which is basically a sales pipeline, if you don't have that populated with slam dunk opportunities, then you're never going to hit your revenue goals, right? As you move forward, you're just going to be struggling to hit revenue goals. And by the way, I say slam dunk opportunities. What I mean are opportunities you feel like your company could do a great job. Not opportunities you feel like you can respond to, but opportunities you've done the work and you have the experience and you know you can go after it. The other thing is if you're not pursuing these opportunities, so if you don't have them in a spreadsheet or a formal sales pipeline tool, if you don't have a sales pipeline and opportunities in there that you can pursue, then you're not doing sales in my mind because you're just responding to opportunities instead of pursuing opportunities and try to shape them in a way that you can win and learn more about them. If all you're doing is seeing an opportunity and responding, really to me, that's more like quoting than actual sales. And you really want to double down on sales. And sales means finding opportunities in the out years and then going after it. So let's talk about finding federal opportunities. And I'm going to dive down pretty deep. We're going to cover a lot of stuff. And so first thing I would just want to talk about today, I just want to remind us how important it is to have a clear, focused offer. When you're doing sales, when you're talking to people, or when you're looking for opportunities like we're going to talk about today, you need to have a clear, focused offer. And so I want to really dive down into that. And then I want to talk about the 3 different ways that you can make money within the federal market. There isn't just one way. There's 3 distinct revenue streams. And I want to just make sure that you're tracking on all 3 of those. Then as we move into the 3rd bullet, we're going to talk about where to find opportunities. I got 10 or 11 different ways you can find opportunities. And actually, there's a lot of different ways. I just combined them and smushed them together to make 11 bullets. And if we have enough time, I'm going to give you a tip on how to never miss an opportunity that you really want to go after, right? So never miss an opportunity. If not, you just take a screen grab at the end. If you don't know who I am, my name is Neil McDonnell. I'm the president of the GovCon Chamber of Commerce, and I want to welcome you to my federal sales training where I provide tips for success in the federal market. I spent 20 years as a small business owner in the federal market, and since 2018, I've been teaching people like you that government contracting is not a secret. It's just a process. When we follow the process A to Z, we have repeatable, predictable results. And that's what I want for you and for your company, for you to be able to have predictable and repeatable success. If you haven't done so already, do me a favor and subscribe to the Government Contracting Success newsletter. This is my newsletter where I share a ton of information. If you value this training and learning more about government contracting, I just go full on in that newsletter with things that help you around federal sales. On the right-hand side, you see this little red box if you're looking at my screen. First, I want to say thank you for registering for today's training. If you did that, I really appreciate it. It's kind of an easy thank you to me because when you do that, it lets your network know that you valued this training enough that you registered for it. And it also lets LinkedIn push that out further as well as remind you that the event's coming up. And then the last thing I was going to ask is that as you come into these trainings, after you've been here 2, 5, 10, 50 times, right? I've done over 400 of these in a row in the last 2 years. Invite others, invite other colleagues or teammates that you know, invite them into the training because you're helping us build the network. And if everybody is inviting other people in, we build up a bigger and bigger network that in the chat, you can engage and find people that you can take the relationship offline and grow that relationship. Okay, so let's begin with why a clear, focused offer is vital. When you're trying to pursue opportunities and identify opportunities, find opportunities, it's really important that you have a clear, focused offer. And the idea is it's about knowing what you sell, right? We know what we sell and we can communicate it. I said right here, an example, we sell data security, protecting it at rest, in motion, and in use. This is a focused offer I see from a company called the SureSec, right? They sell data security, cybersecurity focused on data. So data security, protecting data at rest, in motion, and in use. And the idea is they know what they sell, which means it makes it so much easier for them to go farther. This first bullet, right? If you don't know what you sell, then how can anybody else know what you sell? How can any of us know how to help you? So when you have that clear, focused offer, it really is going to make it easier first for people to remember you, right? I just want memorable lines. I ask businesses when they come into my training, I'm asking you in the chat, put your clear, focused offer. 2 or 3 words. It could be a sentence like this, but 2 or 3 words that describe what you sell that's easy for me to remember. When you do that, and you make it easy for me to remember, then it makes it easy for me to refer you. If somebody says, hey, do you know anybody that does data security? Or I just brought up Hunter, for example. I happen to see her in chat, but I know that they do SharePoint and Microsoft 365 services and Power Platform, right? I can remember those buzzwords around what she sells. And so when I'm out there engaged across the industry with government or teammates or companies, I'm able to remember and recall her and say, oh, you should talk to Hunter, right? And the other thing is it aligns the people in your company, your team, around what you offer. I see too many people going in many different directions in a company because they all have their own versions of what we sell, right? People in your company, one person might say it this way, another might say it this way. And when they say it this way, they're thinking maybe they're aligned, but they're not. They're beginning to pull you farther and farther away from what your clear, focused offer is or your core competency. So make sure you have that written down. It's clear, and then align your team to that. Related to today's training, the second to last bullet, right? When you have a clear, focused offer, it makes it so much easier to go find opportunities. If you're looking in at hundreds of opportunities, how do you know which ones are a fit for you? Well, you need to know what you sell. And then you need that to be a clear, focused offer, because what you sell at a high level tells you, aligns with maybe an opportunities title. But when you look at the description of the work, your clear, focused offer will align in there or not, and make it so much easier for you to find opportunities to get into your pipeline. When you have a clear, focused offer and you pursue the right opportunities because of that offer, then you'll be able to write responses to RFIs, sources sought, or RFPs so much faster, and more importantly, so much more impressively. You'll be so much more impressive to the customer. I'm not really impressive right now, am I? You'll be able to write really good proposal and response back to the government that it not only wins or doesn't win, but the people who read it are like, wow, I want to be tracking on this company, which might lead to them talking to you about opportunities in the future that are not related to the one that you responded to, but are related to your clear, focused offer. So it's really important to have that clear, focused offer. All right, so as we move forward into the opportunities and talking about finding opportunities, I just wanted to stop and make sure you understood that there's 3 ways to get to the federal dollars and the federal opportunities, right? Even if you see an opportunity up there, you can subcontract under a small business, or you can prime contract that opportunity straight to the government, or you can subcontract under larges. This is a really important thing for you to remember, because sometimes when you're looking at opportunities, you want to make sure that you know whether you can prime or whether you need to sub. And if you have an eye for all 3 of these revenue streams, then you'll be able to look at an opportunity and go, well, we can really do like 40% of it. Then go find a prime and say, we can do 40% of it. Can you do this other part? And you can prime, we can support you. Well, that's subcontracting, right? Under a small or large, and then prime contracting. So you want to be able to, as you're moving forward and you're looking for opportunities, don't just look for opportunities to prime, look for opportunities across all 3 revenue streams. A quick caveat for everybody, right, is remember what stage your company's at. If you're below, $2-3 million, I say you should just subcontract under smalls. I don't care if you can win a prime contract or can go to large. For the normal day-to-day operations of a business growing, subcontract under a small. Frankly, I would say like between 3 or 5 or 10 million. Just keep getting the money and the experience and getting your team cleared and all those things before you move to the other revenue streams. I'm not telling you can't do it. I'm just saying it's way easier to win opportunities and to get revenue when you subcontract under a small, if you're just getting started in your company's journey. And I don't mean just getting into SAM, but I mean just getting into the first few $1 million in revenue. Okay, so let's have some fun around where to find these opportunities, right? And there's 11 that I'm going to go through. And I already mentioned that they're kind of filled in there. I'm just making sure on a quick AV check. So these opportunities, I'm going to go through and I'm going to watch my time because I want to save enough time for the last slide. But the idea of these opportunities as you go forward, I tried to put them in the order that I might suggest you look at it, but really you can go in particular any order. Number 11 should probably stay to number 11, but the rest of them, are pretty much in a good order, but feel free to rearrange them any way you want. So let's talk with number one. Number one is sam.gov. This is where the federal government puts a lot of their opportunities, not all the opportunities, but many, many, many opportunities are in there. A huge portion of the government opportunities are in there. So you can go into sam.gov and you can watch some of their free training to learn how to identify opportunities and begin to pursue them. When you look at SAM, you can look at two main notices for future opportunities. One is sources sought type notice, which will be sources sought and RFIs, and the other is solicitation and related type things. Watch the training. But the solicitations, you can look at those. The RFPs dropped or about to drop, right? And so that's something you can look at. The other thing you can find in SAM is you can find awarded contracts, and there'll be several ways I'll talk about this. But SAM also lists many of the awarded contracts, and you can go in and learn about opportunities that were awarded. And let's say I might go back 3 or 4 years to see opportunities that were awarded 4 years ago that match my clear focused offer. And theoretically, they're getting ready to expire, which means they're getting ready to recompete. So there's 3 different things you can get out of SAM. The sources sought or market research opportunities, the ones that are in the early phase, the RFPs that are dropping or about to drop, right? There's a little notice ahead of time, and then awarded contracts. Number 2, going along with these awarded contracts, are FPDS and USASpending. Both of these tools that the government has are contracts that have already been awarded, and they're a perfect place to look at opportunities that you wish you had won. And now that they might be coming up for recompete, you're going to go pursue them. So it's a great way to go in there and look at it. The only big difference is that USASpending is pretty and visually attractive, right? It's got a good graphical interface, and both of them though are pulling the data from FPDS. So the raw data I like to play in is FPDS, but I go over to USASpending when I want to have quick graphs. Frankly, when I want to see pictures, I go to USASpending. But FPDS has the data that you like. And so you go into FPDS and you can find opportunities that are expiring. When I work with people and I say, or when I work with you right now and I say, you want to find opportunities to pursue for 2025, let's say, you want to make sure you line up your 2025 revenue. Well, you're looking for opportunities where that contract is expiring, let's say September of this year to December or January of 25. That means the government is pursuing that opportunity, or their acquisition lifecycle is earlier, like right now and through the next few months. And so this is the window where you'd be doing capture, and then you'll get closer. So you want to find those opportunities. I look into FPDS and I'll look out 2 and 3 years and fill my pipeline. When I'm looking at clear focused offer, it is not hard for me to say that piece of work I'm going after. I don't care how good a job the incumbent's doing. If I think I can do it, and I'm so good at my clear focused offer, I'm going after it. And FPDS makes it easy. So number 3 are many, many different types of events. I just used 2 distinct ones. One is an agency type event called vendor outreach sessions. So HUD, DHS, et cetera, they do monthly vendor outreach sessions. They might have themes or whatever. It doesn't really matter. The whole point is the small business shop organizes an outreach session to the small business industry. They might let the largest in, I don't know, but they're reaching out to industry, and in those events, sometimes they share information about upcoming opportunities, and so that's a great way to track on it. What I wish they would do is not make us actually attend, and they would just share the slides. That would be even easier. But you want to work with your target agencies and find out about those vendor outreach sessions. What sessions do you have? How can I access them either on the replay or in the forward? And then conferences are awesome. So there's some conferences where it's like small business type conferences. I avoid those. I don't particularly like them because it tends to be me and a bunch of other small businesses there. What I like is going to an Air Force conference or a Navy conference or a cybersecurity conference, a construction conference, right? One of my customers went to an elevator conference. I like going to those because you really begin to find the need out there, and the potential of you hearing about opportunities is much larger. And so looking at those conferences is a great way to hear about opportunities. Another way is number 5, industry day events. And so similar to vendor outreach sessions, industry day events, and the APBI is advanced planning brief to industry, I think it is. And the idea of these is industry day event might be about one opportunity, usually a big opportunity, and you can track on it. It's a great way to go after big opportunities. Or if you're too small to prime, it's a great way to find out who else is attending these events so that you can perhaps find a spot as a sub. And then APBIs, these tend to be around multiple areas. And so I put out multiple decks where, let's say PEO EIS out of the Army, it's a program executive office. They'll do an event and they have all these different product subordinate offices, right? And each one of them have their own year or need. And in an APBI, you'll see 3 or 4 or 5 slides for each one of these subordinate offices where they talk about the challenges, their needs, and upcoming opportunities. And they might list like 4 or 5 opportunities. So in a big APBI, you might see 100 different opportunities that might not be anywhere else at the moment, or might be harder to see as organized as they put together. So advanced planning brief to industries, you want to find out in your target agency, are you doing that? Are you guys putting those out? Number 5, PTACs. I know they have another name now. They have 2 things that you really want to track on for hearing about and finding opportunities, right? One is a referral. Sometimes the government contacts the local PTAC. I saw this, for example, in Oklahoma, Tinker Air Force Base, I think it is, reaches out to the local PTAC saying, we're trying to find small businesses. Do you know of any? And the PTACs, because they have clients, will sit there and say, oh yeah, we know a handful. Let me put the word out to our clients. And so I always say you should treat your PTAC counselor as a informal advisor to your company. You should be meeting with them on a regular basis. Once every month, you should touch base, whether you see them or you call them or you send an email, just, staying on the radar, et cetera. But you want to be able to do that. I put in red here, if you're noticing it's red and it's bolded, because anything on here that's red costs. Everything else is free. So almost everything I'm telling you about costs no money. It costs sweat equity, but no money. But there's something called bid match that they do that you can sign up and they'll send you a bunch of bids. I don't know if every PTAC charges for it, but when I was preparing for the training, it really surprised me that Maryland PTAC charges for this, $150 or something. But what are you doing charging for this? But either way, they have these tools. $150 is nothing if you're in business. So this bid match, though, they'll help you organize around your clear focused offer and try to send you digest or email alerts about opportunities they think you might be interested in and aligning to your clear focused offer. Number 6, it's my all-time favorite way of hearing about opportunities, frankly, is building relationships with other contractors. Could be small businesses or large businesses. But when you build relationships out there, and I always say you should have at least 16 in the industry that are strategic relationships. It's as if you got 16 colleagues who are business developers out there hearing about opportunities and bringing it back to you. And so having those kind of relationships, when you hear about an opportunity, you can bring it back to those people, and when they're hearing about it. So it's awesome. I work with many people right now, and I watch them trade opportunities back and forth and then go, oh yeah, let's pursue this together. So sometimes it's like, I know this will be you. It's not really us. Other times it's like, hey, why don't we team, right? But build relationships in number 6 with other contractors. And it's a great way to hear about opportunities, pushed to you is what we call it. Number 7, contract vehicles. And so there's 2 types of contract vehicles, ones you have and ones you don't have. And so the ones you have, you should know this, that you can go in and you'll be in a portal or it's an email pushed to you. But one way or another, you're going to hear about the opportunities that are in there. So like Seaport NxG, they have their own portal, and you can go in there as a prime contractor and look at the opportunities. Same thing with eBuy and all these others. There's hundreds of thousands of contract vehicles. A lot of us sometimes get fixated on the top 50 or something, but there's a lot of contract vehicles out there. So paying attention to which ones are being used in your target agency and for what you sell, and together with number 6, that your teammates or potential teammates are using or have, that's a big deal. The other thing to keep in mind, if you're a small business and you're not on the contract as a, number 7 here, you're not on the contract vehicle as a prime contract holder, Seaport NxG, if I just use that as an example, that's the Navy, a big Navy contract vehicle that's used within the Navy. Any one of the prime contract holders can add you into the portal. So then you're seeing real time what's inside that portal. And the beauty of that is sometimes the prime's not tracking as well, but if you see it and you like it, you can go right back to them and say, hey, I saw this opportunity. Can we pursue it? So contract vehicles is a great way to find out about opportunities, because remember I said sam.gov, not everything goes into SAM. Many of these contract vehicles don't push their information out to SAM, right? They'll end up in FPDS at some point, but they don't go into SAM. And so you want to be finding additional ways of seeing opportunities before they actually come out there. Number 8, Number 8 is an agency one, long range acquisition forecast. So every agency is different, but theoretically, they're supposed to be putting out a spreadsheet or some tool that tells us their long range forecast of opportunities. So DHS has a tool. It's a really good application. You go in. When I say really good, what I like best about it is how easy it is to use and how standardized it is. Other agencies use spreadsheets, and the worst agencies use, I'd almost rather they do no forecast than the ones who do PDFs, because when you get a PDF, you can't do anything with it. But not to complain, long-range acquisition forecasts, when they're a good forecast from an agency, are a great way to hear about an opportunity. It allows you to put it in your pipeline if it makes sense, and then to pursue it with that agency, trying to get in the door, talk to them about it, etc. For number 8, if you haven't done this, go check out on my LinkedIn profile, on my featured section. I think the second featured item on my profile is the long-range acquisition forecast list that we put out. And so I think it has 100 agency long-range acquisition forecast links. And so go take a look at it. Somebody on my team just looked, and we have, it's like 96% squared away. There's 4 that I have to update for 2024, but it's good to go, and it's great. People find a lot of use in there. Number 9, going with this idea of having relationships, is you want to have agency relationships. A great way to hear about opportunities is to be inside the wire, to be inside a program office, to be inside with a contracting officer, to be inside with a small business specialist. Having these relationships inside of an agency, where in a relationship is not just you know the person's name and sometimes you see them or something. It's making a point of maintaining that relationship, staying on the radar is what I call it, right? And so they're aware of what you sell. And when you have a clear, focused offer, it's easy to understand. They probably have your capability statement there because you have met once. So agency relationships, number 9, if you develop them and then begin to maintain them, they will tell you about opportunities. They'll tell you about RFIs and sources sought before they even come out. Hey, you should watch next month, right? They're not giving you inside secrets. They're just telling you, we're going to be submitting an RFI. You should respond. Right? They're not giving you any advantage. They're just the only advantage that you're getting is because you're in there and they know who you are and they want to have industry respond, and you're in the industry. There's a lot of training I've done in the past couple of years where I talk about how to start relationships and how to build relationships. So go check that out if you're kind of newer to the game. But you can get inside the wire, inside of the government buyers, these different people I had talked about, and get them to share those opportunities with you. Number 10, so now we're starting to reach out to the SBA. The Small Business Administration has regional offices and district offices. And inside the district office, this is a great group of people who are kind of quasi small business specialists, but small business professionals for sure. And they're trying to make sure that the SBA's mission of helping small businesses is happening. So they're the ones in the field executing. And these people are awesome. And so get a relationship, get in there and build a relationship. Just like with a PTAC counselor, you want to begin to build relationships within the SBA where some of these people are like your unofficial board of advisors. You touch base with them every month or two, pretty quick calls. You hear them give you advice, you do something. There's 2 people in particular I really want you to pay attention to in there. One person, their role is called the Procurement Center Representative, or PCRs. In a very short summary, their job is to do oversight over agencies, a certain set of agencies, to make sure anything that could go small does. And so the agencies try to push it to full and open. These are the people who basically are doing oversight on that. The reason they're a great one for potentially finding out about opportunities is if they know who you are and they know who your target agency is, right? If they see some of this coming, they can say, hey, here's an opportunity coming out. You should be checking it out if you're not doing it already. Right, that's one. And then the other one, boss, is business opportunity specialists. And these people primarily manage the 8A program. So if you're an 8A company, you should definitely be working with them. They should be like your advisor, your business developer advisor. They should not just be a compliant person, like where you have to go and be compliant to them, et cetera. But they're a great one to be able to hear about opportunities and perhaps learn from them. And the last one is just subscriptions. There's a lot of subscription tools out there. I've always been a pretty big fan of GovWin for opportunities because there's just so much information and they're doing a lot of calls. It is not capture and it is not business development, but it is a pretty solid, reliable tool to find opportunities that you can then learn more about and pursue on your own. And so tools like that, when you're ready to be able to afford them, are really good tools out there. Okay, so the last thing, just really quick on this tip, because I only have a short amount of time, is when I talk about how to never miss an opportunity, I'm meaning in your target agency. So I got a customer who's at Commerce, and they never want to miss an opportunity in this particular agency within Commerce. Well, make sure you focus on the agency. Make sure you build 8 strategic relationships within that agency with the program office and the contracting officers who work with that program office. And then stay on their radar, have monthly meetings, email them, etc. But make sure they know who you are. And a great way to continue to build their understanding of you is to respond to those RFIs and sources sought as they drop. Okay, here's what I want you to remember from today is, first off, just make sure you and your colleagues know what your company's clear focused offer is, right? And then choose 1 or 3 of those revenue streams I talked about to begin to find opportunities within there, or align opportunities to each one of those streams. And one of the first things I would do, like today even, is just go to FPDS really quick with that clear focused offer in your mind and try to find 5 opportunities that expire in 12 months. If they're a fit for you, they might be a good fit for the pipeline, right? And that's a great way to start getting practice at finding opportunities that are solid for your company. If you're looking to grow your company, especially accelerating past $1 million, accelerating past $10 million, we have a BD Accelerator workshop. Love to talk to you about it. If you're interested, just go to govconchamber.com/workshop to learn more. And for all of us, as you move forward through your day, just remember, government contracting is not a secret. It's just a process. I'll see you in the next training.